So it sounds like there's a lot of opportunity, but a lot of unknown.
Yeah, definitely.
And then obviously laws will probably get created as we muddle along through this.
Oh, yeah.
I guess would be the first one would be stopping the original NFT on a property for them to continue to get royalties throughout history, throughout life, basically.
Yeah. Well, it would be, probably a state by state basis. So if you're watching this and you're in a different state and these innovations are starting to evolve, just check with your state real estate commission and figure out what those laws are. I believe here in Nevada, they did have something like that back in the 80s or 90s. It used to be called a fee transfer obligation.
Okay.
And I do know from my research that I believe those
Are
are no longer allowable per state law. So that's not the only thing as far as regulation that I think we would see. Currently, there are other types of cryptocurrency that are called stable coins, where they try to peg to the dollar. So they're always worth $1 in theory, or really close to it. They kind of like really try to track value of $1. So let's say you owned Ethereum or Bitcoin or one of the other cryptocurrencies out there, and you know that right now the market's going down. Well, what you could do to protect yourself is transfer your holdings into what's called a stable coin that's supposed to be worth $1. Well, this week, for the first time since I've been paying attention to the space, which is quite a while, there is one of those stable coins who depegged from the dollar and actually last night dropped down to as low as 20 cents on the dollar.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and there's a huge story behind it. It's the Terra Luna network. The coin is called UST. I'm sure if you're watching this down the line, you should probably look it up if you're not aware of what's happening. But because of that particular problem that's taking place literally over the last 2 to 3 days, you can bet that Congress is taking a look at this, and there are a lot of people who are upset who thought that they had $1 for one UST stablecoin, and if they had $100,000 in there, they woke up this morning and it was worth $20,000.
Oh.
Yeah, and when things like that happen, that's when you know regulators will step in. And so we will see more regulation, but quite frankly, cryptocurrency has been like the wild, wild west for the last 12 years since Satoshi created Bitcoin. And now that it's...
to read that book, by the way.
Yeah, you should definitely check that out, called the Bitcoin Standard. Now that it's becoming more and more popular, institutions are starting to get involved. Applications for ETFs and other financial instruments are starting to be filed. A lot of them being denied right now, but they're trying for a reason. It's going to start getting regulated, but as much as we all like the idea of decentralization, and the reason why Bitcoin is so popular is because it spawned out of what happened from the 2008 crisis, where they bailed out the big banks.
Right.
And there was a lot of money being printed. That was exacerbated by all the money that's been printed over the last 3 years as well. And this is a decentralized platform, meaning it's trustless, meaning that you can really control it unless you completely shut the internet off and shut electricity off. It will always exist. And because of that, it's been kind of like the wild, wild west, where there can be a lot of scams. There can be a lot of things that go wrong, which are kind of called rug pulls, where you might invest in something and you wake up the next day and it's not worth much at all.
Almost like a Ponzi scheme.
Yeah. So it's a gift and a curse in the sense that we want to control our own money. We don't want people to be able to print more of it. Bitcoin has a limited supply. But at the same time, with the advent of all of these other cryptocurrencies, you've got bad actors. And because of that, that decentralization, some people think probably needs to be regulated a little bit. And I think
there was a country that actually adopted Bitcoin as their currency.
Yeah, and there's some more news that just came out about that. It was El Salvador.
Okay.
It's a South American country, and there are rumors that a country in I believe Northern Africa just recently adopted it, and there probably will be more and more countries who do adopt it as a currency. But there's so many different possibilities for cryptocurrency, for NFTs, because of the blockchain's nature of being a ledger that is completely verifiable forever. As long as there's a transaction done on it, there's always going to be a record of it. And so there's a lot of applications that can spawn off of something like that, we've come to find out. And one of those things just might be a more efficient real estate transaction in the future, which could be a huge opportunity for those who are involved. And it may be
It may get rid of the bad
the
agents
demise of other people who are traditionally
unwilling to change.
Yeah, that still remains to be seen, especially with what's happening right now. So I think the future is bright
Okay.
for tokenizing real assets and real things. And I think we're going to see a lot of development on that over the next 3 to 4 years. But I don't think it will really emerge as something mainstream for at least another 5 to 10 years.
What would your advice be to an agent who's getting into the business now regarding NFTs and cryptocurrency?
You know, it's like digital real estate, right? So like if you're going to be a real estate professional, I think it's wise to learn about as much as you possibly can, especially for something that's emerging that could become extremely popular. If you're a new agent and you get ahead of this and it does blow up, you could be the go-to guy for this specific niche, and it could become an industry standard in the future.
Okay.
But I do believe, at least for the foreseeable future, over the next 3 to 5 years, we're going to see a lot more traditional transactions than we will
NFTs.
Blockchain and NFT transactions.
So you think that our real estate profession, us as real estate professionals, we're safe right now. We're not going to be replaced by the blockchain. I don't.
No, I think there are a lot bigger threats than the blockchain right now. There are plenty of technology companies who run on centralized databases that are coming after us. So those are probably the biggest threats. However, as long, and this is just my belief, if you give great service and you provide a lot of value to your clients, human nature dictates that they will have a level of trust so strong that they'll return to you when they're in need again of a real estate transaction. You might have technology companies trying to come after your commissions and your job, but at the end of the day, this is a people business. It's a face-to-face business. And you can equip yourself with a lot of technology tools to make your job more efficient and the customer experience better. And learning about blockchain might be one of those technological tools you just might want to equip yourself with, at least learning about it, knowing how it works. So if you ever have to bring that tool out of your tool bag, you know how to use it and you know how to serve your clients with it if it's an option that makes.
Because the property is owned by a company, and then whoever purchased the NFT owns the company which owns the property. Property taxes are just part of it.
That's the thing, because the local municipality is going to want their taxes, right?
Right.
So as far as I know right now, most of them are still only accepting good old-fashioned fiat USD, and so that's probably how you'll need to pay them. There are different cities like Miami that are really progressive, who I believe are starting to offer the option to accept money for their employees to be paid in cryptocurrency. I think there's like a Miami coin, which is their own cryptocurrency. I think Bitcoin's an option. You might be able to pay fines and tickets with Bitcoin. At least that's what I've read about being proposed. However, I'm not quite sure if you can pay the taxes with cryptocurrency right now. And at any rate, I don't think that you could take the NFT and use that to pay taxes, because it's, like I said, it's not fungible. It's not something that's easily exchanged, but you could easily sell it and get money or get cryptocurrency.
Can you take a loan out against it?
I'm telling you right now, I believe you can. There are people right now who will give you loans on your NFTs. Typically, they're like blue chip NFTs. But like I said, there's a lot of volatility in the market right now. So I'm not sure if those options have changed. I do know, though, for like blue chip companies or NFT collections like the Bored Ape Yacht Club, At one point, they were at over 150 Ethereum, and this was just 2 weeks ago, when Ethereum was between $3,000 and $3,500. Today, it dipped below 100 Ethereum for the cheapest one, and Ethereum is only worth about $2,100 right now.
Okay.
So if you would have taken a loan out against one of those NFTs, which at its height was close to $400,000 to $500,000 just for the cheapest one, and today it's worth maybe 50% of that. Sometimes when these people give you a loan on your cryptocurrency, if it goes down a certain amount, they might call that loan due. And if that loan gets called due and you can't repay, there might be a smart contract written that gives them control over that NFT. Or or your crypto holdings in that particular wallet.
It'll make like foreclosure proceedings basically a little bit easier too than the whole, like it takes sometimes, I mean, I've known people like in a couple of years before they could actually get people out on the foreclosure proceedings because of all the red tape that they had to go to.
And that's why it's such an amazing opportunity. Like these developers are truly leaving some of the most like progressive companies, like Web 2 companies in the world, like your Googles, your Facebooks, your really popular, your Amazons, like technology companies that you've thought about for Web 2, which is like a regular website with a user interface where you can order off of Amazon. A lot of these people are moving to Web 3, which allows them to develop on the blockchain, on networks like Ethereum, because there are so many utility use cases that haven't even been thought up yet that are now possible because of this. And so a lot to be figured out still. We're really early, but potentially, yes, you could foreclose on something if this or that doesn't happen by this or that time, or if this then that happens in this scenario, then it could be easily transferred if that was written in the smart contract and they have the mechanisms in place to make that happen.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, a lot of stuff there to unpack, but definitely keep diving deep on this and just know that there will be a lot of development and innovation taking place over the next 3 to 5 years in this space. Some of the smartest people in the world are working on it right now.
All right. Well, on that note, because we could go down this rabbit hole for like another 3 hours.
Yeah.
I'm going to just sign off. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit like and subscribe and hit the bell so you can be notified every time we upload a new video, along with Danny Fee.
You could find me most places just at Danny Fee.
P-H-E.
Yeah, with a P-H-E-E. Definitely, if you have any questions, feel free to DM me. If there's something that I said that you felt I could have expanded on, DM me, let me know. I'm learning every day. I've learned as much as I know now, but I'm always learning more. Like I said, there's so much that can happen with this space. So.
Oh, yeah.
All right, guys.
Talk
Thanks.
to you guys soon.